Welcome to my virtual campfire. I'm Crystal Kelly. In Season 2, I am exploring with you as masters of our own experience in an epic and unique time in the history of conscious life. We are all being called to do something unknown. I'm turning to the ancient wisdom when fire was the quantum shift that catapulted humanity. Now, we are the shift. When we connect consciously, we are connected with the new earth. We become the new earth human family. Through vibrations and conversation, let's enter this superhighway of consciousness and co-create within the quantum realm of light.
So this is actually the first time I've done Zoom before, so this is interesting.
Wow. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
I know. Like, what have I been doing the last 2 years, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually honored to be your first Zoom.
Yeah, oh, great. I mean, it's only I think it's fitting. You've always been tech savvy, and I've always been slow. So thank you for this.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I think of myself as so lo-fi and then
Really?
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. I think the first thing that reminded me that you knew what was up was the keys to the warehouse. There was like this code to the door, and I'd never seen anything like that before. And it was like a code thing, right? It was like a punch in the code, and I was like, okay, I think she knows what's up.
Yeah, I know. I've always actually thought of myself as a little bit of a 007, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. It's more of like a MacGyver technology.
Exactly.
Where you're just like, okay, so this goes there and that goes here. And I'm like, I've never heard of either of these things. So yeah.
Totally. No, you're so right. That's I am tapped in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to talk to you today. And I'm just gonna do a brief introduction so that there's a basis for, people that are listening that know who you are, because you and I could talk probably all day about tons of funny stories. And
yeah.
But anyway, I'm talking to Anders Marshall. He is a classically trained award-winning singer, ranging from swing and jazz to doo-wop and rock, as well as soul and beyond. And I can personally attest to all of this. He has performed with the Seattle Symphony, Vocalpoint Seattle, Seattle Pro Musica, and other astute organizations. Anders is able to meld his voice to many particular artists, including Frank Sinatra, Frankie Vallie, and Elvis, among many, many others. Anders has made radio and television appearances on ABC's Karaoke Battle, as well as recorded movies and video game soundtracks such as Medal of Honor, Frontline, written by Oscar-winning composer Michael Giacchino. Did I say that right?
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
Okay. You've been singing since 8 with the Northwest Choir, and you were a soprano. And you aspire to sing in every genre, every part, and loves the challenge of something new. Jeff Roman of the Seattle Weekly described you as a voice that kills. So,
why wouldn't I use that quote, right?
You know what? I think it's great. I think that you have an amazing natural ability paired with a trained ability. So I think when you bring those two things together, you can kind of accomplish anything you want. That's what
hopefully is the goal, right?
Yeah. So with all of that being said, though, one of my big questions is, like, I know you can sing how all these other people sing. What does Anders Marshall sound like?
I guess the quote I like to use is the shut up and sing philosophy is the less I am, the more I can quote other people, the less I can blame myself for anything that I say or do. This is the reason that I love karaoke so much is there's just so many different ways to say, I love you, or good night, or nice to see ya, or fuck you, or any of those just resounding emotions that music, especially great music, accomplishes, just those pure base emotions: love, hate, you know, sad, happy, just all of those. And it's, who I am is what I am singing that specific day. If I'm doing 3, 4, 5 songs that night, there is kind of a hidden message that I'm not even aware of, about trying to bring positivity in gloomy scenarios, or the opposite. Sometimes. Basically, though, to answer your question in a more specific way, Anders sounds like when you can't quite, you know the song, but you don't know it very well, so you have to kind of piece it together. That's kind of where I will pop in, because sometimes I won't know the song very well, and I'll have to kind of put in stuff to make up for the fact that I don't know it, and that's kind of where my voice comes in. I wouldn't say it's the greatest voice, but I do try to make it the most interesting I can.
Well, I heard one time that we all have our own sound, and it's just, you know, it's like your vibration. It's how, you know, clearly we all have like a voice. So that causes vibration. I think when you mentioned that you don't always know the reason why, like it's almost like you're channeling the songs that you're going to sing to, you know, I feel like that's when you really tap into that higher consciousness of, you know, when we talk about that music can get you high, because I do believe there's a message in it. I think that when you're tapped into that, and then you can let it come out for others to hear, I think is mastery.
I have a very good point to make on that. Is one day I woke up and I had this song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone by the Temptations, stuck in my head. I don't know if it was a dream thing or if the Matrix programmed me for that or whatnot, but so I was like, Papa was a Rolling Stone, just like all day. Don't know why, but I had to sing it that night at karaoke. So I go down to Tallarico's and I'm like, put in Papa's a Rolling Stone, right? So that you get that beat going, and the first line is, it was the 3rd of September. And I go and I look behind me. I go, I think it's the 3rd of September.
Oh my God.
And I looked at my phone and I was like, holy crap. How did that happen? What was the reasoning? Did I do that to myself, or was there something that gave that to me? I don't know. But it was one of the most meta experiences of my life.
Yeah, because that's when you're completely synchronistic with the universe, you know?
Yeah.
So I had a similar experience just recently with a song where I was watching this like YouTube podcast of this lady that meditates underneath a pyramid. And I'm watching it because I've started meditating under a pyramid, and I keep having these like crazy good ideas and just all this stuff happening from it. So I'm like all into these pyramid things now, and I'm finding all these people online who are into pyramids. And so she said she was going to do a meditation, and she was like, it kept coming to me, We Are the World. And she's like, I know it's like an old song, and I don't know why I'm supposed to use this for my meditation, but I'm going to do it, you know, like who cares why, but let's just do it.
Was that the mantra?
Well, what was really crazy is about 3 months earlier, I had been at my friend's recording studio, and for whatever reason, all of us wanted to hear We Are the World. And we were like jamming to it, and like everyone was singing to it, and we were, and then after the song was over, everyone in the room was from somewhere else in the world. It was just ironically, that's how it was. And everyone said where they were in the world when they first heard that song live during the AIDS benefit.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And so I had in my head, I had been like, wow, this is just for a while, I'd been sort of kind of thinking about that song and how amazing it is and how it does bring us together. And maybe, you know, we're back in that same kind of position of humanity right now, or our consciousness or whatever wants to connect with the world. And so when she said that song, I was like, that's perfect, because she received that under her pyramid, because it is in the higher consciousness. Like, we had broadcast that out that night with all of those people who were, you know, we are in Seattle, which is a power place on the planet, and we are able to broadcast things out to the universe. And so to hear that come back to me like 3 months later, I was like, this is cool.
That is full circle tilt right there. That is great. That that's reminds me of this sketch. For some reason was this SNL sketch where they were all sitting at the table, but when they were trying to talk, all of a sudden Hello by Adele would play, and everybody would just stop what they're doing, and they would just kind of like raise their, like, to the higher power. They're like, stop, I'm listening to Adele right now. You know what I mean? It's kind of like music has that kind of power, because it is the pierce. You can pierce it so quickly to the core of who people are if you have a big enough platform to do it. And I think it was the year I was born, 86, we threw out, I forget what the name of the space shuttle was, but we threw one into the deepest, darkest areas of space with a bunch of music. If somebody somewhere ever found it, this would be who we are as a human race. So but it was the 80s, so there was only so much music that you could put on there, so they had to pick certain music. So they did like the Beatles and Bach and Beethoven, and it's just going to be like really interesting to see like this alien race find it, you know, and they're like, oh, these people seem like really peaceful, and then they like come here now, and it's like the music is completely changed. They're like, are you sure this is the same planet? This is just where my head goes.
I think that it's the other parts of the universe, like the light beings or the aliens or whatever you want to call them. I think they send us tunes. I think they send us vibrations. Like
a melody, that's actually there's a whole what is it? Close Encounter of the Third Kind. They had this do 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 do, and it's like, it's simple, but it's a code. Yeah, it's like a 0 and a 1 to them. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it is saying hello, or you're all gonna die, or something. But it is saying whatever
the message is. And so, you know, people say like they receive like downloads, or they receive information, or even just, you could be going through the course of your day, and for whatever reason you decide to turn left instead of right, and that changes your vibrations, you know. So what told you to do that? Sometimes you don't know. It's like, and so I feel like we as humans are actually highly perceptible to the vibrations, if we pay attention. And
but, there's been studies of deaf people that can see them. They can, it's kind of I don't know how to explain it. It would be more of like some sort of movie magic, some sort of like witchcraft, but it would look like smoke lines, you know?
Yeah.
And they just kind of roll. And man, I mean, I don't have any hearing problems, but that would be, if I did, I would try to tap into that as quickly as possible.
Well, because I think anyone can. It's just a matter of like what method you do it. So I think creativity is the way that that you tap into those vibrations. And you know, creativity can take so many different forms, and people get passionate about different things, so it triggers, you know, them in different ways. And
I'm thinking ayahuasca.
Yeah. Oh yeah, plant medicines are a huge part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you know, if you trip correctly, you should probably record it so you can see yourself try to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've done an ayahuasca ceremony.
Okay.
And in Peru, and
wow,
I would have loved to have recorded it, but
But at the same time, you're like, this is sacred. You know what I'm saying?
It is, and the maloka, like where you do the ceremony, is this round like hut, and it really is sacred. Like you don't bring outside things like that in, and so I've actually, this is funny that you're saying this because I've had this idea in my head. I'm like, how could I could interview someone before they go into the ceremony, and then be there on the outside, you know,
Yeah.
maybe recording, and then interview them after. But I don't think I would feel right entering in that sacred space with a camera.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
some National Geographic type of stuff. That's beyond my pay grade. I wouldn't know how to answer that either. So yeah. I did want to talk about for a sec the differences of how music is in everybody's life as therapy. Sometimes we're not aware of it. Sometimes that's the reason that we're listening to it. I will preface there is a method of for people that are on the spectrum, especially on the far edge of it. For therapy, they will listen to be able to calm themselves in regular settings with people. They will go into a dark room with a strobe light and they'll listen to death metal to teach their brain how to focus on one thing, because some people on the spectrum's minds are literally in outer space. I don't know how to explain it, but so there's this movie with Ben Affleck called The Accountant, and he is very high functioning, but very on the spectrum as well. So he goes into a dark room, puts on a strobe light, listens to death metal, but basically it's just the head bobbing, you know, where your neck will literally go out in 5 minutes
in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and he'll take a stick and he'll rub his leg and he'll listen to it and he'll just deal with it, you know. And that's a therapy for him. And it's just, you know, I've heard these things like when you're pregnant, you should be listening to Bach or Beethoven, something that's very kind of simple, elegant, but it's supposed to shape the brain functioning and put it in some sort of order. And music is best when everybody listens to it. What they're doing when they're listening to it is they're categorizing your memory of it so you can replay it in your mind. Mm-hmm. And everybody does this game where they find a song, they're like, ooh, I like that, and then they'll immediately try to imprint it in their memory, which is another thing I wanted to get to. I'll get to that in a sec. But basically, it is a capsule if you do it, you know. So like perfect example, like You Are My Sunshine, and then You, My Only Sunshine, you make me happy when it's imprinted in your brain, right? So my grandma had a tumor, and by the end of her life, she couldn't speak. She was speaking gibberish. There was a part of her brain that wouldn't allow her to say the words that she wanted to say. It was very frustrating. It was very frustrating for her and for us, because we could see it in her eyes that she had something to say, but she couldn't say it. So one day I was walking down the street with her, or she was in a chair, and I started singing "You Are My Sunshine," and she grasped onto it. She was like, "My only sunshine." It was the most ridiculous come back to consciousness I'd ever. I mean, I was like 12 or something. I didn't really know what had happened, but in retrospect, looking back at it, that kind of, I saw what the power in music was, and it brought back my grandma for like 5 seconds. You know, it was the most amazing thing that music ever did for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was singing along with you?
Mm-hmm.
And she knew the words. She
She knew a couple of the words, but she knew the tune.
Yeah,
like
she
that.
knew it was a
tone.
connection.
Yeah, she knew the tone. And by knowing that, she proved to us that she was still in there somewhere. It was just locked, you know, and music kind of set her free for a sec, you know?
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. And you're right. Music does set you free. Like I didn't really grow up knowing anything about music. I actually, if you ask me about bands, a lot of times I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of, you know that about me.
You're the only person that I ever met that was like, I was like, so what music do you listen to? And you're like, I don't know.
I know, I don't. You're totally right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I like things when I hear them. Like, I know what I like. But then I had certainly never played music. Like, I had never made music like come out of me at all until like in the pandemic.
Right.
Because I got so bored, I wanted to learn new things, and I'm like,
so you got a Spotify account? Is that what you did?
No, I actually my podcast is on Spotify, but I don't have an account. I'm like, you know, just whatever. That's, you know, maybe I should get one, but
I'll send you a link to my Spotify because I have all of these categories that you can look through, and that would be, oh, that's what this is.
Yeah. I love that. That would be amazing because I don't quite know how to use it. But what I found, this is interesting, and we haven't talked about this yet, is I was completely attracted to all indigenous instruments. Like I got
didgeridoo.
Yeah, we have a didgeridoo. I have a couple wooden flutes at home now. Nice. I got crystal bowls.
For the
I actually use them in my meditations. Like so I like sit under my pyramid with my bowls around me and I just play these like things.
That is sacred. That is sacred.
It is. And it literally just comes out of me. I have no plan. I don't know what I'm even gonna do. Like, and sometimes it really sucks. Like I'm like, oh, that was not good. But like maybe I was like, you know, off or something. I don't know. I have no idea. It's all about location. You know, I mean, just the idea of singing karaoke. There's so many steps that I take that I don't even remember. And then after the song's over, you're like, why didn't that work for some reason? And then you completely forget just one simple step. It could be the way that you're holding the mic, or some speaker isn't properly working. But most of the time, I feel my best when I'm in a great place of acoustics. And I was lucky enough to grow up. My dad was a minister, so I grew up in this beautiful church that had like stone floors and wooden ceilings. I don't know if you know, but the combination of the sound, when the sound hits the floor, for it to permeate and then go up into the walls and wood and just kind of hover, those acoustics are the most unbelievable sound. They would probably actually do like movie and video game soundtrack recordings there if they could, but it's on California Avenue. There's too many cars going by. So what they do, but they do go to a church in Bothell from Bastier. That's where they do all the movie and video game soundtracks, because churches have the best acoustics because they got those hard stone floors and the wooden ceilings for it to resonate, and the sound is just amazing. So I don't know where your pyramid is, but you you might be right. And I was also gonna say, not only are the ceilings usually wooden, but they're like rounded.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pyramid. I mean,
exactly. It's like the shape is a sacred geometry to it. Like, you know, so all of those things are all ancient technology. Yeah. Like, and you know, I'm not a huge, like, I don't know much about religion, and I am not like religious by any means. Like, just like music, if you ask me, what religion are you? I'd be like, I don't know. I kind of study all of them. I'm, you know, so I don't really can't comment on religion, but churches use that sacred geometry, and they do are tapped into those ancient wisdoms in many, many ways. That I've read a lot of accounts where that is in the Bible even, you know, and those codes are there. So
well,
there
music,
is a link.
I mean, if you're a religion trying to get through, you know, medieval times, you're gonna need music to unite, control, whatever, but you're gonna have to harness it somehow. And, you know, sadly today, the way that we harness it is through sex and you know, free Britney. But
Yeah, totally.
No, but like if you go to like a recording studio, they don't record in nice places. They record in really small spaces with all this plastic foam on the walls to like give it a fake ripple effect, and then they throw it into a laptop and they come out and it sounds completely different. You know, it's not Justin Bieber, it's whatever Justin Bieber was when they turned him into Justin Bieber, you know?
Totally. It's all produced. It really is. Like, I mean, even I'm in the middle of making an album. It's a meditation album. And we did almost all the recording down in Tulum, Mexico, at a sound temple. And so we were at the sound temple, and that's where we laid down all the main tracks. But you need to master it. You know, it all has to like get onto your Spotify somehow. And that was the part that I'm learning. And it's, you know, pretty fascinating. And you're exactly right. It goes through a laptop and when we're down at the recording studio. But in a way, I still feel like the music has the same essence as when we put it down. But it is a little different because we've had to manipulate it in some ways to make it work. And so you want to add an echo, you know, or something, or give it a little more smoke in the background. You know, those things are fine. But when it's like you know, I gotta say, when I was on TV, I could see that they were manipulating people's songs to fit whatever character they wanted somebody to be. Luckily, they weren't trying to paint me in a negative light, which they could have, because I mean, let's face it, that was a crap shoot, that whole thing. Anyway, but then you see it on TV and you're like, wait a minute, that didn't sound the same when I heard it. Because like there's just so many ways a voice can be manipulated. You know? and they're producing the image that they want. They're directing the message, and that's why I don't really believe almost anything that I see on video production. Because or I take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? It's but it's a powerful tool. I mean, clearly, you know, that's why news is so powerful as well. It's getting a little bit away from like music, but it's all a production. It's trying to produce people's realities.
I feel like there are, when it comes to music, there are two different idols we subscribe to. Either the one that writes the songs, like Paul Simon, you know, Simon and Garfunkel, great songwriter. He wrote maybe 100 songs that I could just think off the top of my head, but he's not a great singer. So like when we say we want to aspire to be like Paul Simon, what we want to do is kind of be like a songbird of a generation, like a Bob Dylan, because Bob Dylan wasn't known for being a great singer, and he's not necessarily a bad singer. What he did was he didn't care about singing.
He's like how I'd be if I sang. Like,
yeah, maybe.
Like I feel like I'm the female version.
Yeah. And then there's the opposite, which is kind of more on my side, which is I just want to make a tone that is so perfect and so piercing that it could make heads turn, And I got a compliment one time. I was singing Led Zeppelin. I was doing a Whole Lot of Love, and so there's this note at the end. It's kind of in between my chest and my head voice, which, I mean, we could get into a conversation about that, but I sing this note, and then it was good. Yeah, it was good. And then afterwards, this lady comes up to me and she goes, "You know that last note that you did? Well, my 2-year-old, what was it? No, it's like my 6-month-old son I was breastfeeding my 6-month-old son. And when you hit that note, he turned around and he looked at you." And I go, I guess that's the point. I guess that was the point that I was trying to do. I took that kid's mouth away from his mom's titty.
Yes.
That is the proudest moment, maybe, of my singing career. Okay.
That's amazing. Like, that's an amazing story.
There also, one time, I was at Young War, right? And I was doing Keen, Somewhere Only We Know. And there was this guy that I'd seen there a few times, and he came up to me the next week, a week later, and he goes, "I heard you sing that song last week, and me and my wife were in a fight, and I think we were going to split up. And then I walked in and I heard you sing that song, and I went back home and we made up, and we've never been happier." And I was like, "Dude,
oh my God, that's amazing.
Don't tell me that, man. It could have been anybody singing that song, man. Don't put it on me." But anyway, those are like kind of my like 2 stories that I like to share once upon a time.
No, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I don't
know. But it makes
it
all worthwhile, it makes it all worthwhile because literally yesterday I'm at Blarney Stone. I'm hanging out with my boss, and he's like, he wants to introduce me to his friend. And I'm like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I was in here a couple weeks ago. I just came in and I did, I actually sang Papa Was a Rolling Stone. It was September 2nd. I was a little early. And then I just went out. So I sang the song, then ran out. And he goes, "Dude, I remember you. You killed that song." And all of a sudden, my boss's friend is now my friend. I took from him because I sang a song a couple of weeks ago. It's amazing the doors that you can open by just doing the right song at the right time. And that's what I'm hunting. That's what I'm looking for on a daily basis. What is the perfect song for today? It's not going to be something I wrote, that's for sure. So that's why I've definitely just dug into my karaoke innards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a few questions.
Okay.
My first one is, what's today's song? But like, think about it. Don't answer it right away. Let it come to you, unless you already know it.
I don't. I'm thinking though.
And now I completely forgot my second question. So let's talk about today's song. What?
Ooh, I just found it.
Okay.
So I don't know why this is, but it's pretty simple now. So right now I'm doing composition music. Me and my mom are making we had a composer in our family about 200 years ago, Irish composer named Hamilton Hardy, and we're restoring all of his old music. We're putting it into a nice computer program, and then we're gonna get it all laid out and nice paper and stuff like that. So, and on here it says "Looking Back," and I go, "Oh, okay, looking back. Looking out my back door." Okay, that's today's song. Boom. CCR.
Okay.
So there you are.
Yeah. Do you know that I was named after a CCNR song?
Which one?
I'm pretty sure it's Credence. Now I'm like, wait, maybe I'm wrong.
There's a song called Crystal. Is it
Crystal Blue Persuasion?
Okay, yeah, that's not CCR, but
Oh,
yeah, that makes sense.
okay.
That's a song by Crystal Blue Persuasion. What is that? Crystal Blue Persuasion. I'm gonna figure this out, but
Okay.
it'll come to me naturally. This is
It will.
yeah, because this is the problem, is that it's just too easy to get on our phone and figure it out. But we're missing steps in our brain. You know,
Yeah.
we're supposed to work on remembering these things. And
Yeah.
you know, sadly, karaoke is the easiest way to not learn a song, because you can just kind of read the words
Right.
and kind of get around it. But it is it definitely spoils us for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like when I've watched you sing, you're not really reading it.
You know what I am doing is, more than reading it, I need a place to look, because if I make eye contact with people, I will lose my train of thought. You know, that's where I kind of fit on the spectrum, is that, you know, I just, you know, when I was singing in the choir when I was younger and doing solos with the symphony and stuff like that, I had to be very proper. I kept my hands behind my back, and I would either keep my eye on the director, or I would try to stare off at an exit sign or something. And then, you know, when I'm trying to interact with people, I don't care about the eye contact. I don't care about if I know you or something like that. What I really want to do is I want to connect with people's ears. I want to be able to not ever meet somebody, and I want them to still know who I am. You know, it's the weirdest. I don't know why I'm not good at, you know, like perfect example, Mick Jagger, you know, lead singer for Rolling Stones. The guy, he's a fine singer. He's not great, but what he does so well is he will find the one person that isn't like being connected, and he will force you to connect with them. And that is something I've never learned, never been able to do. And he's the greatest. That's why they've been performing for 60 years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, this is interesting, because as I'm hearing you talk, and I know the level that you're at, is that you're still a student. You aren't a master yet.
Always.
And that's really, it's really cool, because you're really studying all parts of music, vibrations, sounds. I think one day you will sing your song.
You know, all I need is one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Michael Bublé only had one song, and then he just said jazz standards the rest of his life. But it's like, you know, I will always be the student as long as Bobby McFerrin is alive, and he is the greatest singer on this planet. The guy, if you don't know, listen to some Bobby McFerrin, especially live Bobby McFerrin. He does some crazy. He can sing two notes at once.
What?
That's probably 30 years down the line for me to even try to attempt. But I mean, like, just in the last few years, I've been able to tap into my falsetto. It's more like a harmonic, if anything else. You know, I don't know if you've done string instruments, but I was lucky enough to play violin for 15 years. Now, I'm not any good at it, but what I learned was that the vocal cords are just like string instruments.
Oh, yeah.
And our breath is kind of the kind of bow that we breathe. So we can actually, you know, I can sense like the music, how it flows. I can't see it like we talked about, but like, because of my string instrument, because I played string instruments, I'm able to kind of see how it would look, you know, and my brain can kind of put together why something isn't working or why something is working from my playing violin for so many years. That somebody maybe that played the trumpet for 15 years has a completely different perspective of how their voice looks in their brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, though, if I met a guy that sang and then he was like, yeah, and by the way, I played trumpet for 15 years. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's why you sing like that. So I think I'm lucky to have played the string instrument for my voice being kind of it's a more romantic, gentle instrument, maybe.
Yeah. I think the violin's really cool. I think my middle daughter, Eloise, played the violin for about 4 years and maybe a little longer. And
that was enough.
yeah, she really likes it. And she's 16 and she's a cheerleader, so she's not playing instruments anymore, but I do notice that like when her friends are over, she brings out her like ukulele, or she'll
okay.
She'll she still has it in her. And I think I've even seen her like pick up a guitar and just start playing. And so
it's all about the influence, right? If Taylor Swift was playing a violin, she'd be playing a violin. You know how many girls probably right now are picking up a flute because of Lizzo?
Yeah, totally. It's and and I'm like wanting to learn a harp. That's my thing.
Yeah, learn that.
Totally want to take this class on like how to play a harp, and it starts in January.
Instrument is the harp.
Wait, what was that?
It's the ultimate meditation instrument. Is the harp.
Well, that must be why I want to play it, because I'm all about like meditating right now. It's like everything I want to do. Every
depiction of the harp, like that's what God would listen to. Like you see God like eating grapes on a cloud. There's always somebody playing the harp to him,
Yeah, I'm totally like, so that I know. I was in Peru, and we were in this garden, and it's a private garden. And we had a San Pedro ceremony with the master, and it was amazing. And we went outside afterwards, and the kids were playing in the yard. We had Penny with us, who was 1, and they were all like playing in these hammocks, and the older girls were playing with her. There were dogs, there was birds and butterflies, and just hummingbirds kept buzzing my head. And it was just this like surreal garden that we were in, like almost like a Garden of Eden. And then I kid you not, there's this guy that walks in with this big like thing. And I'm like, I wonder who that is, but no one says anything to him. He just walks in. And so he is like setting up his stuff. And I could tell it was a musical instrument after,
because I think they put it on wheels and they put like a cloak over it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, and I had never seen one in person. Like, I don't know why, I just never had. And so, I asked, went over and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm going to play harp for you guys. And he played the entire set of the Beatles.
What?
On harp, like Let It Be. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
And then I found out
his own arrangements.
Yes.
That's so cool.
And then I found out that he had played at the White House many times. He's that guy. Yeah, he's
modernizing. He's modernizing music for the harp.
Exactly. That's awesome. So he's like the current master. Like, and we sat there, and it was beautiful. And we got to talk to him afterwards, and all this. And sometimes, when things happen in your life, it's like total foreshadowing. You don't know it.
Yeah.
So that was in 2017. Okay. And now we're in 2021, and I'm like, I want to play the harp. Like, what? And then the funny thing is that I said that I went down to Tulum, to the sound temple. My friend that built the sound temple, she was telling me that she wants to learn how to play the harp, and she wants to get a harp. And I'm like, and she's telling me this, and I'm like, this is so crazy. Why do harps keep coming up?
They're trending. They're trending. It's Inception. It gets in real deep. Yeah. You'll listen to a song. It's the same thing when you listen to a song that you like, because you'll hear it the first time. And then when you hear it the second time, you're like, oh yeah, I like this song. And that's how it starts, So the sound of the harp, the fact that you saw it in person, all of that was just overload. It overloaded your musical system that you didn't even know what to do with it until 4 years later.
It took me that long to process, because it really, I think, was the most beautiful day of my life. I don't think that I can think of a more blissful, joyous day as that day. It was, all three of my kids were with me, my husband, like we had no responsibilities that day. You know what I mean? Like
we're trying to get back to that day. I get that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like every time I hear Every Day by Buddy Holly, you know, every day. Every time I hear that, it transports me to when I was 8 years old and we're driving to the Tri-Cities around these mountains. Every time I hear it, it transports me to that moment where I was going, this is a good day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
your 8-year-old self. And I wanted to get into like, when I started doing singing in retirement homes, dressing up as Elvis and doing Elvis songs. And I'll tell you, like, there's people that they don't look conscious. They don't look like they can talk. But then they hear that one freaking Elvis song. And it can be, there's so many that people just, and all of a sudden I'll just be like, you know, I'll sing like Teddy Bear, you know, like, won't you be my teddy bear? I can't even sing it right now. I don't even remember how it goes, but they'll just like, they'll literally wake up from wherever they were and they'll be like, oh yeah. And it transports them to that moment in their lives. So like, let's say this Elvis song came out in 1960. You will see somebody 2021, 95 years old, go 50 years into the past, get clicked into their head and go, oh yeah, wait, where am I right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
the craziest, you can see it happening. Their eyes will just have a little, like, you know, it's like, it's the weirdest feeling.
But you can see it. Like you can see there's
they come like, back. It's like they come back to life or something.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden they feel young. Yeah. And then they remember that they're not. And then, so it's just like a glimpse. You just see like a glimpse for a second. Yeah. But it's totally undeniable. You know exactly what just happened, you know, and it starts at the very beginning of the song. You know how like when you're in a bar and a song starts playing and then all of a sudden a group of people go, oh, that's the feeling. Yeah. Where it's mostly like prom music, but you know that feeling, you know, where it's just like, oh, here we go. OG, we're back, you know. Just for a second, you get you time travel.
Yeah.
In your brain.
Well, I think that's what time traveling is. I think it's a realm. I do. I think it's a realm in our minds and we, you know, tap into it every once in a while. I think like deja vu is like that, you know, where
I just had deja vu yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
It was the weirdest thing. I didn't even tell anybody. There was somebody sitting right next to me and it was so prevalent that I was scared to say it out loud.
Wow. Wow.
I was just like, you know what? If it happens again, then I'll say it. But it's just, have you ever gotten double deja vu?
Oh, I've actually had like deja vu where it like keeps going, like and it seems like I almost like tap out for a second and then I see something like really deep and I come back and yeah, that's kind of trippy.
That's interesting. I'd like to talk more about that.
Yeah, it's
it was like a wheel, a circle of deja vus that wouldn't stop.
It wouldn't stop and I kept coming back to exactly where I was.
That's definitely crystal brain right there. That's I think that's more crystal brain. I would love to hear more like intricate, like how it all happened, how that whole day happened, because that sounds very I like that.
I think you know how the harp thing took 4 years to process for me? I think that I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, some things in life we will always be trying to process, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like, thank God we're all healthy, but you know, car crashes that I've been in, you know, sometimes you just you think about where you were in that moment and how lucky you are to be in this moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the feelings that we need to be a more sturdy human being, you know?
Yep.
and music is the spice of that, and it mixes in all parts of our lives. They play music in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like music is everywhere. You can't get rid of it. And you know, Starbucks is probably the best example of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, music can truly heal.
Yeah, you can have the worst situation in your life, but you will never, you will always find a song for the occasion. There will always be a song that'll help you cry, will help you smile, and you just got to find it.
Yeah.
And I've been very lucky to know a lot of great music for a lot of different occasions. You know, just thinking off the top of my head, you know, trying to do like being a wedding singer or something like that, for example. I know exactly what people want to hear at weddings.
Yeah.
This is not the time for me to do my this is my single about how we're all gonna die alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know
Right.
exactly what music people want to hear at weddings because that's the vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I've gone against the grain. You know, many times people are trying to have a good time at a bar or something, and I'll just do a real downer song because this was the song of the day.
Yeah.
This was my song of the day. And you have to pander if you want you want to maintain the good vibe, you know. So yeah, I've definitely gone against the grain sometimes, but now I'll just, you know, there's so many songs that I've done. I've probably done 5,000 different karaoke songs in my life. Just pick a different song, just pick a song, you know. And the thing is, especially the vibes these days are, I'm having problems because I always wanted to be a soul singer, but I'm having problems with myself of trying to sing songs that might seem appropriated or stuff like that. And then there's other songs that I want to do where, you know, everybody loves this song, but wait, it's R. Kelly, so I don't know if I can do this anymore. So yeah, it's one of those ever negotiating wheels, and you know, like as a test, I decided right after that Michael Jackson documentary came out, I was like, I'm gonna do Earth Song by Michael Jackson, but I'm gonna have a backup. I'm gonna have a backup song in case somebody gets upset, because I want to see if somebody gets so upset that they will say you can't just stop singing the song altogether. And it happened.
No
and
way.
Yeah, this girl was like, you can't do that, blah 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 blah. And I was like, all right, let's do the backup. I had it ready to go, and I did, I don't know, CCR, the Doobie Brothers or something like that, you know.
Oh my God.
But now, I mean, it's 3 or 4 years since that documentary. I don't hear a word about Michael Jackson songs. The music overcame whatever was going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I'm saying that the music lives on. There's no other way to say it. It's just, I think that's why people love to make it, and I think that's why people love to worship people that make it good, because Mozart's been dead for 300 years, but he's at the tip of everybody's tongue. Everybody knows who Mozart is, you know? Everybody knows Mozart's middle name is Amadeus. Like, it's ridiculous how legendary one song is. It's not even, if you take out the human race, one song isn't even real, but you put in the human race, one song is the realest thing ever, you know? I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like, Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, these guys are going to be Bach, Beethoven in 400 years.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And Roberto Perez, the harp player, will be like my idol forever, I think. You know, like, I just, like, it was kind of a life-changing thing, just even hearing his vibration, you know. And it's funny because there was another musician that was there at the same time, and her name is Joy Booth, and she records in Ireland. She's from Ireland, and I talked to her recently, and she mentioned that day as being one of her best days ever. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And she said that she had talked to him afterwards a whole lot, because she had just lost her dad, and I guess he had too. And so then I kind of, I don't know, I was reflecting just back on that moment, because it had come up again, you know. And now I don't even remember why I was telling you this.
You're saying because she had the best day, you had the best day.
Yeah,
there could have been a moment while she was playing where everybody just transcended into this, you know, this kind of realm where, you know, you just kind of like let go, and you're just kind of like hovering over everything, and you're like, where am I? But I don't care. Like, you know?
Yes, no, that's what it was. It was transcendence. And I didn't know the word, like, thank you, because I didn't understand what that was. But it felt so much more powerful when after she told me that she also had that. And then talking to the kids and Jason, they also had that. And then I think little Penny was like one. I actually think she experienced it too, just she didn't understand what it was. Yeah.
I mean, there's this place in St. Mark's Cathedral, and they do Compline Sunday nights. I don't know if they're doing it right now because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I've been to that years and years ago.
Yes. And one of those times, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we were, I remember exactly where I was, and I wasn't sleeping, but I felt like I wasn't conscious, but I wasn't sleeping either. It was amazing, because it was the sound of these men singing, and the floor and the ceiling and the resonance, and it was just so perfect for my ears. Maybe my ears were just trying to fly or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those things that I hate to say it's because of the music style, you know, because it's classical music, which both of us, that's where we experience the transcendence. I don't know if you can get the same from going to, you know, see James Taylor at the Gorge, or go see Blink 182 or Green Day. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's like possible, and it's not and it's because the vibration. So like all of those instruments that we're talking about vibrate at like a different vibration than, like, say, Blink 182. And but you know, I think we need different things at different times. So like you had said that they use that like headbanger music as therapy, and that's what that type of person needed at that moment, you know, for them. So I think that like all of these different vibrations, we all need it. Like, it's just different moments, you know, what's appropriate at what time.
Right. Like, it's not like you want to listen to you know, like for a romantic night 30 years ago, Michael Bolton would have been the best pick. But if you want a romantic night, you throw on some Michael Bolton, and you might end up Netflix and chilling that night. But you know what I'm saying? It's just the timing is everything.
Yeah. The
timing is everything. You put on the right song at the right time. You get some person that hates music or hates singing the loudest they've ever sung, you know, just because it's the right song at the right time.
Yeah. That's awesome. I know I went one time to a beach house with a bunch of my brother's friends, actually. And late this one night, we're all gathered around like the great room or whatever and hanging out. And one of them starts playing like some song that I had never heard before, but it was like super catchy. And then all of a sudden everyone was singing, and it got to the point where we were all singing, dancing on the tables. I was singing the lyrics. I'd never even heard the song. Even if you say to this day, what song was it? I wouldn't even know. And it was kind of sounded like an Irish jig to me a little bit. I don't know, like
Gwen Stefani, maybe.
I have no idea. I'll have to ask my brother what song it was, but it was like that collective moment of just like kind of joy, and moments like that are really fun. It is a way to connect, and
it's kind of like it's you know, if you're like witnessing that from like outside of the group, it's like a come to Jesus moment where it's just kind of like all these people just all of a sudden started drinking all the same punch at the same time, and it turned into a whirlwind. It's you know, if you have a party and there's no music, it's not a party.
Right.
It's not a party until there's music, and nobody, you know, nobody notices that that's the reason why there's no party. People go, hey, why isn't there any music playing?
Yeah.
They don't, it's not part of the party, but it's the whole layer. It's like, why would you not put cheese on your nachos? You know
it's the vibe. It's the, it's the whole, it is.
And, you know, back in my time, I would try to throw parties, but I didn't listen to today's music. I was cataloging for decades, just all the music and then I could go to today's music, you know. It took me a while. So my friend, you know, Zach, I mean, he told me, he goes, dude, nobody wants to hear your Doors. Nobody wants to hear your Billy Joel and your Aerosmith. And then, so I had to like find, that's why I was such a genre hunter. I needed to learn every genre, because I feel like even in a bank robbery, there's a song to be sung at that specific moment, you know, like working 9 to 5 to the bank robber or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you got to find the right moment, the right song at the right time. And there's always a song for every time, at any time. I believe that. There probably isn't, but I believe that there is.
Well, we're moving into new territory, so maybe we just need to be writing the new songs for the new times.
That's true, but I think Billie Eilish has got that on lockdown, I think so too. Right now.
Yeah, I think she's nailing it, actually, and
I think
I'm
so
a big
too.
Fan.
I'm very. I hope that that she's taking care and not getting influenced, because there's a lot, especially young girls, that aspire to be who she is, and I hope she can keep that. Like, you know, I don't want her to go full tilt Britney, you know what I mean?
Well, I think, you know, that's the one thing that I think changes with music is when you're able to have that freedom to choose whatever you want. It's joyous and it's fun, and you can channel those, like, really, you know, whatever it is that you're working through, you're channeling it. But the moment that something becomes out of your control, or you lose creative control, or do you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I'm the thing that I would, if I ever got to meet somebody like Billie Eilish, I would say the first thing I would ask would be what was her idea behind the green strand of hair on her head, and then why she got rid of it. I just want to know, like, did she get tired of it? Was it her idea? But, like, because that became hugely popular when she first came out doing Bad Guy, and she had the green slate and all that stuff. And now the fact that she's gone blonde, I want to know more about her hair. That's
okay. No, it's, you know, and I'm just going to say, a woman's hair says a lot about them. So that is I think it's actually a deep question.
Yeah, I think I think it has to do with, like, when I see hair, it kind of reminds me of, like, when you look at a log. You know, it's like it's years, but it's also like what was going on in those years too. Yeah. So the like my hair, per se, I try to just let it ride. You know. Yeah. When I wake up, that's my hair.
Yes.
And people will know that that's the reason. Like, that's how I care, you know?
It's clear, like, that you've not manipulated it at all.
And if I had, that would have been so sad.
Well, you know, it's funny because there's, like, literally that saying, like, you let your hair down. You know what I mean? Like, So that's like when you get free,
Let your hair down. That
Yeah.
reminds me of that scene in The Witches when they all remove their wigs and they're all bald, all those bald women in one room. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if hair is indicative of how you are singing that day, but me and my hair, I think there's a relationship with hair and singers. I lit my hair on fire once because I thought it was there's no reason for hair. We don't need hair anymore. We have umbrellas and hats. There's no reason for hair. I don't know what I think it was a thing about fashion. I was mad at the fashion industry or something.
Oh my God. So you set your hair on fire?
Yeah, I'll show you a video of it sometime. It's still on YouTube for some reason. I don't know why they haven't flagged it.
Oh my God,
like
I want the link to it. I'm gonna link it to this podcast so everyone can see it.
It's Anders Marshall lights his hair on fire. It's easy to find.
Okay.
So but like there's just not a lot of famous bald singers out there. I mean, and the funny thing is like when you think of a bald singer, you think sad rock, like Disturbed, or that guy from was it 9 Inch Nails? Is he bald? No. Smashing Pumpkins. That guy's bald.
Yeah.
But
Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan.
Yeah.
I don't think he was bald. I think he kind of moved into baldness. So I don't know if that counts. Phil Collins bald? I don't know. But my thing is that especially rock and roll, hair is ridiculously important for no freaking reason.
Yeah.
That's why the whole band Poison became famous, because their hair, know?
Yeah, I think if you're in this, I am just pulling this out of whatever just came to me, but if you are channeling that like higher energy, you would do it through your crown chakra, so through your head.
Okay.
And so maybe because our hair grows on our head, that possibly if you're like electrifying that chakra all the time, and you're like maybe it is kind of a little Einsteinish where you're like woo, like
Well, yeah, I mean they're the weight of some of these. I mean, if you have your hair long to like your knees, you can really start whipping that thing. You can find some balance that could help you find a note that you need to sing, or keep your body in rhythm. Especially a lot of metal groups grow out their hair. Not so much the drummers though. I feel like that would get in the way. Because most of these metal drummers, they're just the hardest working people on the planet for like.
Oh my God,
hours.
I know. It's insane.
It's insane. I don't know how you become a drummer. It's ridiculous.
I think it's like a personality, because the daughter that I was saying that plays the violin, she also played the drums, and she was such a little drummer. Like it was so her personality.
There's always been stereotypes for the people in the band. Like the bassist, the guy that doesn't really talk.
Yeah.
The guitarist is the one that has this ideology. They have lead singer-itis, which is basically I'm the star, and then the drummer is just like the hardest working guy, and he's always the guy that's on time. It's just, and that stereotype, as I've found in the bands that I have been in, always true.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It's just the way that bands work.
Yeah.
They're the personalities have to mix more than the music. It's ridiculous because you have to get along.
Right. Yeah.
The Beatles lasted 8 years, God bless them. But I mean, 8 years for a great band is not a long time. There was just too many budding personalities,
Yeah.
And the reason the Rolling Stones made it is because they don't have the ego. Their ego is like so far past.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason they're making it. If they had any other job, it would be the stupidest idea for anybody to quit that job.
Yeah.
They're gonna die. They're gonna die together on stage.
Totally. And you're completely spot on, because when I was in Tulum, I was making music with 2 other women that until that day, the 3 of us had never been in the same room or even the same like realm together. So it was Megan Taylor and Joey McCune and Crystal Kelly, and we're like there, and we're like, okay, we said we were going to make this album, now let's make music. And the only reason the magic happened, I think, is because we were all doing it for healing in general. Like it was, there wasn't a,
There's a common goal.
It was a common goal, yeah. And so there was an ego involved, and it was, okay, how are we going to do this? We're going to work together and we're going to figure it out. What sounds good, what doesn't, you know, like Megan, you try this, Joey, you try this, Crystal, do this. And then let's
you
switch.
were all at the beginning, I think, is the fact that you all kind of learned from the beginning what it could be like. And if some fourth member tried to come in at the end, you're no, we're learning right now.
Yeah.
You know, as a band, that it can't happen, you know, you're in that corner, I'm in this corner, and then we're just gonna smash it together. Right. No, you have to get in the shit. You gotta get in there, get dirty, know that it's gonna suck for a little bit, but something good's gonna come out of it.
Yeah. And then when you all figure it out, it's cool. You know, like you kind of, it's really cool.
It's like a timestamp. When you see those girls, you'll think, boom, that's where I am right now. That's your timestamp of creativity. You're like, holy crap, did we just make something? It's kind of like, you know, not so much like having kids, you know? You're just like, I think that was the one.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's called creation for a reason, you know?
My God. Yeah. And see, that's the spice of life is the music. The music is subtle in reminding us how amazing this is that we're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just, the miracle of life.
I mean, perfect example is Hawaii. You know, when you think of Hawaii, you think of a ukulele kind of. You're thinking on the beach. I need to hear that ukulele, and I need to see some hula dancing. Or something, like, you know? Right, exactly. But the music is always present. You know, even if you're lost, like Gilligan, you'll still remember Gilligan's Island. You know,
it's true because you really can't think of Hawaii without hearing the music in the background. Like it just is. It's there. Yeah. Cool.
I mean, and I mean, we don't really have composers like we did. Mozart and Bach and stuff like that. They were, you know, Billie Eilish, you know, Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
So their music, basically classical music, has been turned into not something that you watch, like an orchestra. People go to the opera just to listen to it. But see, our society is so visual now that that what they do now is they do movies, and they completely influenced make or break a movie. You can watch a movie on mute. You turn on the show and they have circus music. You're like, whoa, this movie sucks, you know? but like if it's like Batman, you know, and it's got to have that fierce, that dark kind of sense of never stopping, whatever. And you hear it, you're like, oh crap, that's Batman. You know, you hear Batman, you know what I mean? You're like, duh, 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 duh. Oh crap, that's Batman. I don't know about that suit, but like you hear Batman, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy how we don't allow ourselves to be as ethereal. Like we don't tap into our ears as much as we do our vision. Like I recognize that face, you know, you catalog it, but like you just kind of let things go in and out your ears because there's you know, music is all around all the time. So you can't just listen to everything, you know, because you got to, like, you know, listen to your folks or listen to your girlfriend or listen to your boss.
You know, as you're saying this, I'm realizing that our visual reactions to things are the faster things because the light travels
speed
faster.
Of light. Yes.
So we see things before we hear them. And so maybe our visual reflexes to things is more immediate, like it happens faster, but the vibration, the sound of it goes into our subconscious more than our conscious, because our conscious mind is looking and then our subconscious mind is listening. Does that make sense?
That is interesting. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of freaky, actually. It's almost like sound is more precious.
Yes.
We have to wait for it. We have to be patient. It's a great song by Guns N' Roses. But it's kind of like catching it. You got to catch the wave.
Yeah.
Because if you're like behind a bush, maybe you don't hear that shot from the grassy knolls. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I've always wondered, like, for some weird reason, I have this like reoccurring thing. Like, if there was a gunshot, right? Like, if I see it, could I move out of the way? But like the sound is gonna come later, so I won't even be able to move in time because I actually won't hear it. But like you're trying to. That's the time travel, you know, is when you actually can put both of them together at once, which is, you know, like if you're 1,000 yards away and you see this kid hit a home run, you don't hear the crack of the bat. You see it. You see it. And you're like, and then you hear that crack and you're like, oh yeah, he got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the speed of sound is slow. I don't know how to speed it up. I think it's just heavy. I think sound is heavy.
Here's an interesting thing that I think about. Like, anytime there's been any sort of like UFO sightings, or anytime I've seen what I think is a UFO, like the brightest light I've ever seen, there's never sound associated with it for me. And I don't think I've heard other recollections, I could be wrong, but of many people saying that there's sound associated with seeing these like bright lights and things that move in the sky, but it doesn't have a sound. And I'm wondering if we don't hear that vibration yet.
Yeah.
What if like it's there, but we just haven't figured it out yet?
It could be like a dog whistle, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, it could be in the sight of it. Maybe the sight is so blinding, your ears aren't even aware that they're hearing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that would be why, if I was going to get abducted, that would be their tool for just completely getting me out of my zone.
Because you can't process it, because there's no, at that point, there's no more language in your mind. There's no more, because it's so overwhelming that you don't know what to even think. Yeah. And I know for me, the first time I saw that bright light was in 1996. Okay. And it wasn't until I told the story so many times, like I saw this weird, you know, when people are just saying weird stories that happened to them, that one would always pop in my mind. And it wasn't until like, I swear, like 2004, when I told this story to a friend, and he's like, well, you know what that is, right? I'm like, no, I don't. I've been like telling this story for years and I don't know what it is. And he's just like, you got abducted or you saw a UFO? And I'm like, what? Wow. Like what? You know, and then
you didn't even know how to categorize it.
No, I had no idea. I had no words for it. I had nothing. And then he told me that, he said, your story matches a ton of abduction stories I've read. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I'm like, where did you read them? You know, so then I became a student of this stuff because I was just naturally curious, because I was trying to find answers for myself. And, you know, I still don't have all there's still so many answers I don't have, but
yeah,
I trust that I'm gonna find out, I think.
I mean, look, when it comes to outside, when it comes to being outside of any comfort zone, whether you're tripping balls or, you know, you're going to the afterlife or something, what we really want is to hear a soothing voice that's gonna say everything's okay. Yeah. And it's not gonna be like everything's gonna be okay. No, it's gonna sound like, okay, I know whatever this is you're going through right now, it's gonna be fine, right? Yeah. Don't worry. You gotta have a tone.
Yeah.
And you know, being in choir, I feel so grateful that I know, I might not know what to say, but I know how to say it in a very like, okay, it's gonna be okay. You know, like right now I'm like selling hummus at markets, and there are a lot of people that just don't know how to properly talk to strangers. You know, they'll just be like, what's this? You know, but I get it. You know, they don't have time to learn etiquette or whatever, because we are Seattleites are a sensitive, passive group, aren't we? We don't like to teach, and we don't like to be taught. So so when it comes to these little things can go a really long way, just by saying it correctly, by saying, you know, you don't say have a great rest of your day. You say have a great rest of your day. You know, like these are, and Crystal, you are especially good at this, because I remember back in the day when I was working for you that you would always answer the phone. Hello, this is Crystal, right? Isn't that what you say?
I'd say, hi, this is Crystal.
Hi, this is Crystal. And I was like, oh, that's so easy, because you can say it to anybody.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like your work mode, you know, hello, this is Crystal. And I was like, oh, that's kind of ingenious, because it's universal. You can use it for anything. You can say it to your mom, you know, like
and then like when what happens to me a lot of times is people will call me and they'll start talking, and I'm trying to place like how I know them, you know, like and maybe it's just like the way my mind works or something, but it'll take me
them. I
can't see them, and I am a very visual person, and so so sometimes it really does work to my advantage, because I can either be on a professional call or a you know, because
you know what helps if you're trying to do that is you close your eyes and you actually try to see if you can see them in your brain by hearing them. And that's the only way to do it. If you don't close your eyes, it's not going to work. You gotta literally.
That must be why you really need to close your eyes. Like, say
when
I'm
you
like
sing really hard, when you sing really high, everybody closes their eyes, because they're trying to figure it out, and you have to heighten your ears. That's why they close their eyes, because once you close your eyes, then all your other sentences have to raise the bar. And so that's why, you know, when Justin Bieber does this, he's always fucking closing his eyes, because he's thinking really hard. You know,
that's cool. That's super cool. So
that's why, you know, when I would do like karaoke competitions, I didn't like to talk to anybody. I just wanted to be in my zone. I would stay still, and I would close my eyes, and they're like, you need to talk to you need to invite the crowd more, you know, open your eyes, look at people. And I'm like, if I do that, I'm not going to sound as good. Because I'm not focused on the one thing that I should be focusing on, is singing. Now I have to pander and talk to everybody. So it was an interesting few years trying to get me out of my comfort zone, and realizing that maybe it's not about singing the best. You know, maybe there's one person in the audience that's just like there for how good his voice is. You know, I'm just going to be like, oh, and then put it into Rock Band and see how good your intonation was. No, it really, you just want to have a moment with somebody. That's really what these things are about, is you want to connect just for one instant, that you get it. I get it, you get it, we're in it, you know? And it's hard to find. I try to find one every night I sing. I try to find one note that I'm working on. For one song, I want to hit this one note, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the point is that my goal is not I have a unique goal in karaoke. I think everybody should have their own unique goal, whether most of the time it's guys trying to, you know, meet girls, or it's somebody's wants to learn this song better than anybody has learned this song. And some of it, and some of it's just like, I want a free drink, or I want somebody to pay attention with me, to me.
Or know? Like you sell your business and you just want to go out.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. No, that one never disappoints me. Especially speaking from hosting,
Uh-huh.
when people have just gotten off work or something like that, and there's a work party, they always, first of all, tip the best,
Yeah.
have the most fun,
Yep.
and that's where the party is. It's like, okay, now we can stop doing what we have to do and start doing
Exactly.
what we want to do.
I know, and especially because like all of us work together, so like it definitely, yeah, it's like when you want to celebrate, you want to sing.
Absolutely. I mean, like, it's ridiculous. Like, karaoke is everybody does it.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, you're the lame one now. That's what I love about it. Like, we're all gonna go out and sing karaoke. 15 years ago, people would be like, that's stupid. Like, now it's like therapy. People need to vent, and the only way to do it is through music and karaoke.
You know that it is a little bit. It's therapeutic for people. Wow.
I guess that's the core of my message. I mean, one day I want to make it out to Japan and find out like where it all started, where this karaoke thing started. But
I went.
Yeah?
I went to Japan and I danced salsa in a karaoke bar that my friend's mom owned.
You would do salsa. That's crazy. Wow. Yeah. So so my point, guys.
I'm just gonna say that they have a lot of fun with it. Like, it's a thing, and it is really,
it would have to be
really awesome. Like, it was a great another one of those like top days, you know what I mean, where it's just like it's just kind of bliss,
that's my goal. I mean, hopefully one day to get up there and see if they like my Americanness, my American karaoke-ness. See if
I need to then connect you with Peter Hetzel. And he's the creator of the documentary project I've been working on, Shifting Circles. And he is the one that lives in Japan. And his mother-in-law is the one that owns the karaoke bar.
What?
And I think that you really need to connect with him. And you guys, he's somehow, like, you need to save up enough money, and he'll like, you'll go there and visit him, and then he's going to make all that magic happen, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I'm excited.
I know a little more of this story than I'm going to say, because it was in confidence that I learned the information. But I really think you need to connect with Peter if you have any sort of desire to sing karaoke in Japan.
I mean, I've always thought my season 3 would be my season 1 would be local Seattle, and I'd introduce them to all my weird karaoke friends, and then second season touring the country in a karaoke RV, and third season, final season, is in Japan.
Well,
at least that's what I outlined for my
for your documentary.
For my documentary.
Let's make it.
I mean,
let's do it.
We got everything that you need except all the copyrights, the songs. But other than that,
we'll have to figure it. I guess those are things we'll have to figure out.
Maybe we'll never have to sing in my karaoke show. It can all just be an illusion. Nobody ever knew if I could sing. That's actually a
great idea. So you know what Jason's doing now? My husband.
McLovin.
McLovin.
I always call people by their karaoke names because that's who I think people really are.
It's true.
What they sing.
So McLovin is now a video editor.
Oh, awesome.
That's
you need that.
Yes. Like, so now my household, between me and my children, we're all a production company, really.
Wow.
I mean, we even have the talent.
Productions. Like Full House.
Totally.
That's awesome. Yeah. I definitely want to, like, video editing. It's like, I don't even know where to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's how
I've only done like a couple of YouTube videos since I got this new laptop, and it's just I don't know where to start. There's just so many tools, and there's just like, you need like a thumbnail. Like I'm literally like at that point.
Yeah, no, I know. It's pretty overwhelming. I mean, I used to linearly edit video when I worked at the TV station, and you know, you go from one tape to a next, like literal tapes, you know, and I knew how to do that type of editing.
Oh man.
But nowadays it's so dynamic, and like I'm in the same boat as you. I'm overwhelmed by it. Like,
you should have been making that program. They should have been making it tethered around you, but they tethered it around these computer people.
Yeah, I know. And so so I could MacGyver a story together, and I could probably like cut and paste like scissors
one by one. Yes.
Yeah. But you know, and I'm sure it'd have a lot of artistic flair and stuff, but
shouldn't your kids be able, isn't that like their thing?
Yeah.
Aren't kids like always better at computers than we are?
Yeah. And Sophia is a awesome video editor. She's a really pretty talented storyteller, you know, like with the way she does transitions and stuff.
Oh, she's one of those. She can do like the TikToks and stuff.
Yeah, like I had actually hired someone to edit some video for me, and I was really disappointed by what they sent me. And so then I showed it to Sophia, and I was like, can you believe this? Like, this person calls themselves a professional. Like, this isn't good. And she's like, she looks at it and she's like, Mom, I can do that way better. And so then she goes, just send me the raw video. So I send it to her. I swear 20 minutes later, she comes up to the kitchen and shows me the video, like so well done. I'm like almost wanting to cry. Like, I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like, that's exactly,
yeah, I just put it in Snapchat. That's all.
Totally. And you know, she sent it to me, and then that's what I used. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. You know, just innately, she's got a really marketable skill.
Yeah, she could do what is it? Manage an Instagram account for somebody famous or whatnot, you know? Well, those people make money.
She wants to do her own. So she's got her own YouTube channel. She's got, you know, all of that. She'll be famous one day. I think so.
I mean, it's only a matter of time. That's how I feel about me. So just a matter of time, you know?
Yeah.
I think that the balance is that you don't want to feel like you're doing everything, you're doing too much, which is making you look desperate. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Versus not doing enough and not really deciding if you want to do it, but you're just barely doing it, so you can kind of keep doing it if you want to. There's a balance in the middle there, and that's where careers happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's for me anyway, it's when I stay true to like why I'm doing it, and that like I'm doing it because it's fulfilling something, you know, like
it's got to put gas in the tank somehow.
Yeah, with something. And so the way that I feel fulfilled, sometimes things I do, I have to make money, you know, so that's my intention for that particular thing, like real estate that I do, you know, like, but then when I really do something from my heart, like say this podcast or my documentary project, like those are things that I've thought about for over 10 years. These are things that I saw in 1996 and I didn't even know how to describe it. You know what I mean? Like these things are coming up, and that's why I've been a student for a really long time of all of this, like other vibrations and dimensions, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to pull it all together. And what I've learned is that other people are in the same boat and they're doing the same thing. Like they're having these like aha moments or these things that they really tap in. And I think if we can co-create, like we can talk about these things together. Like I just learned some things about music from you today that like blew my mind, you know, and I'm sure you learned something that I said. And and then we're going to move into the future of where we're going to be able to like make your documentary. And this was the first place we talked about it.
This was the creation station.
Yeah, this is the incubation of it.
Yeah.
You know? so who knows, you know, why we do these things, but I feel like when I see someone or, and I'm like, oh, because I ran into you on the street the other day, and I hadn't seen you in years. And, you know, I'm like, oh, hey, what, you know, how's it going? And then
you gotta pounce on those moments. You gotta say, this is important that this happened. Yeah. I'm not gonna just throw it like it's nothing, you know.
Exactly. Because even though, like you said, oh, what are you doing? And I said, I made a podcast, because to me, it's what I'm really passionate about right now, you know, and I know that you live for your passion for music. And so, you know, we're two passionate people. And so it's, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna tell them about my podcast. It's awesome. You know, like I'm really into it. And then, you know, and then you're like, oh, well, I want to be on your podcast. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, like, why wouldn't we, you know?
I've never been like good at starting things, because I have a lot of self-esteem issues, but I always like, I have like a podcast. I have like 3 podcasts that I've never started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
But like, this is just so much more natural to me. It's like being, you know, just like hanging on to your lead and just you know, it's what I wanted to say about the you know, sometimes you can work on a song for 10 years. There's songs that I'm still not even ready to attempt yet, that I've been working on this whole time. And what that's given me is that you can go and see somebody, a stranger, and they could be working on the same thing, a different song, but they're doing exactly the same thing that you're doing, and you can hear it without even asking. You can see where they are in their work, in their song. And I go, you know, I'll say, dude, that's getting really good. I'll see somebody I haven't seen for 3 years. They're still working on the same song, and it sounds completely different. It sounds so much better. And I go, dude, I heard you sing that song 4 years ago, and I thought, I don't know. But now I'm like, whoa, dude, you really put the care and attention. You love this song so much, and I see that, you know? Yeah.
So it's okay that I only sing Talking Heads.
That is great. I mean, Psycho Killer.
It's the only music. Like, if there's music that I want to sing along to, it's Talking Heads. I have no idea why. So like the concept behind the words and just like everything about it is, I'm like,
I think I know why you like the Talking Heads.
Why?
Because they're like pseudo professional. They like dress kind of professional, but they do these really outside the box things in a professional setting. And I think that's, as a disruptor, that's what you do as well. You throw in your flavor, and it's just like, it throws people for a loop. They're like, what just happened?
Totally.
It feels normal, but it's almost like not. It's like like I'm in my own reality. That's what the Talking Heads is.
Yeah. And you know what? You're totally right, because I love polarities. I love black and white. I love, like, I'm just so fascinated how, you know, when you have that image of, like you're saying, the professional realm, and then they're doing this like psychedelic, like, you know,
thing. They got like a robot on stage or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, here I am somewhere in the middle of it, you know, like what? Like,
yeah, thank you for inviting me to this freak show. I love this.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I feel like that's like it's how I feel in life. You know, they've somehow given my life some sort of like framework to work around, because it's how I feel almost every day. I'm like, oh my God, like, there is all this stuff going on and people aren't seeing it. Like, they're just there, and they're there, and they're there, and like, and then all this stuff is going on, and I'm like here, and I can see it all, and I'm like, what? This is so crazy. Like, people don't even understand, like, the enormity of it.
Early 90s, late 80s. Late 80s, nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah, so that's what lights me up, is when I'm just like,
you need to watch this. Have you ever seen the show Documentary Now?
No.
It's like a spoof on these these docuseries. It's a spoof on it, and they have one about the Talking Heads, and it's Fred Armisen and Bill Hader, and you gotta watch it. It's called I forget what it's called. Just go Talking Heads documentary now. But it's
I'm gonna watch it today. I'm really excited.
The idea of, because when I was growing up, I didn't have MTV, I didn't have cable, so the idea of music videos was not something I aspired. I didn't want to be a pop star. I wanted to be a recording artist, but I don't think they have those anymore. No, you got to be like you got to be like you got to be on The Simpsons or something to be a recording artist.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what Homer Simpson looks like in real life, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So that whole
nowadays
thing was really a turnoff, though.
So nowadays you could become like a hologram, like an NFT, you know, where you're like embedded in, like you're just your essence of you on stage, but all you see is your energy, like your light.
I wonder if I could just do, like, if I just sat in I don't know what you're supposed to sit in to make yourself a hologram. I'm sure it's like some little computer vessel that you sit in. Yeah. But if I did like 3 days and tried to do like 200 songs, I would be forever capsuled in hologram form. Yeah. That sounds so weird. I'm in. I'll do it.
You should do it.
What do they have those at the mall? Have you seen those?
I don't know.
They have these little karaoke booths.
I just made it up in my head.
It's like a telephone booth. It's like a telephone booth that you go inside in the mall, and they have karaoke songs, and you sing inside this microphone inside of this little telephone booth.
Okay, so I did not know that.
I've never been in it. They've always been out of order because somebody always gets pissed and tries to break it.
Oh no. Are they in the United States or is this in Japan?
I saw it in Northgate.
What?
Yeah.
Weird. I know nothing about this, but that's amazing.
Maybe your kids
now I do.
I haven't been in the mall, and I mean, Northgate just remodeled, so who knows if it's even there.
No, they tore it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're turning it into a hockey stadium, like a practice stadium.
Practice stadium for hockey?
For the
Kraken.
Kraken. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, I love the name, by the way.
Hey, I need to sing the national anthem at some point there.
Yeah. You should.
I've only done it once. I don't know if you saw that video, but it was I sang it on one knee. And I did it in about 3 different octaves. I started really low, and then at the very end I got really high, and never do national anthem hungover. It's a bad idea.
Where did you sing this?
About that.
Where were you singing?
This was at they were doing a what is it, a 2K? What is a half marathon?
Oh gosh, I don't
Whatever
know.
A half marathon is, they were doing that.
10K?
I was the starter again, basically. So
gotcha. Okay.
And it wasn't great, but the thing is like the national anthem, people butcher that stuff all day, every day. And I'm just looking at it going, if they only knew that I would sing the best rendition of this song ever. Yeah,
you would.
It would be my hologram.
Yeah.
That would be my hologram.
Well, now, you know, you should, wonder where you're going to sing the national anthem. Yeah, maybe at the Kraken game.
Yeah, I almost got to do the lingerie football league, but at the last minute, they wanted a girl to do it. Like,
oh, bummer. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they can all kick my ass. Let me sing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. So, I think, like, seriously, this has been a really enlightened conversation.
Yeah. I think it's been good because we've always known each other, but it's been so long since we've sat down and talked.
Yeah.
And I think this was just the perfect way.
It really is. And because every time like we run into each other, there's so many distractions because like, of course, like, you know, probably as many people as I know. So the two of us together is like ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
And
we should get at least 50 views on this video. Easy.
Easy, I'm sure. And
Easy.
but I think that because of the type of people you and I are, just like very open and we talk to everybody, and I'd say pretty like loving people. I feel like people are going to listen to this and I think it'll resonate because they'll know that we're like authentic. You know what I mean?
We're like here. We're like real Seattle people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like and nobody has a place to go to like listen to Seattle people because they don't know where anybody's from and they're not from here. So this is like a place for people that are like from here. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. Like I'm a 3rd generation Seattleite.
Yeah, so, and I've been in West Seattle all my life except maybe 9 months. So
yeah. So it's but it's almost time for you to leave your little nest and fly out
to Japan.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go straight to season 3. I don't care.
Yeah, well, no, that's how it works. You work from backwards. The future and you work backwards. Like that's why Star Wars is the way it is.
Yes, in a word. Because
it's more interesting that way.
Yeah, you look at the journey after you've reached your goal. You know what I mean? You look back and you're like, oh yeah.
And then the struggles become a little more real, you know?
See, that's why they don't make World Series videos for the loser, because nobody wants to hear about the loser's journey. They always want to hear about the winner's journey. So that's why I say all you got to do is win once.
Right.
I'll lose my
and
whole
then you
life
tell the story after you've won, so that all those failures all of a sudden become meaningful, you know?
Oh my God. Just to justify everything, right? These are my kids. I don't like them, but you know, it was about the journey.
Oh man. Well, oh my gosh, Anders, this has been seriously really awesome. And I think I'm glad that I bumped into you on the street corner, because I think we have some things we can work on.
Definitely. We got things that match up well.
Yeah. We can co-create,
utilize each other.
Yes. I think we can definitely I think this is good. So cool. But for now, I have to check all my messages that we've been talking for a while. So
yeah, it's been what, almost a couple hours? Yeah,
couple hours. But
that's my long form.
This has been I knew this was gonna be fun, but it's been a surprising amount of fun. You know, like to see kind of where we're both at. It's kind of cool. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing this. And you know, I hope I can come back, talk about something else at some other point.
Yeah, I think we'll have a lot to talk about.
Cool. Sounds good.
Cool. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Right,
bye. Thank you.
If you like what I'm creating here on my virtual campfire, please subscribe and give me 5-star reviews so that I know these conversations are worthwhile to others. I love doing this, and I hope you love listening. Thank you.